Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Mic Drop Club with your host Douglas Hamidishe. Now today, as we always do, we continue on with our motivation, with our focus on trying to inspire you to achieve your biggest, brightest, boldest goals. And we're going to be joined today in our first pre-run session with Jonas all the way from Sweden to help MindKick kickstart, re-engage our thought processes in around what can we do to keep ourselves in tip-top shape, okay? And we shall be using a speech written and performed and recited, by Amanda Gorman at Joe Biden's inauguration a couple of weeks back as the backdrop. So on that note, Jonas, how are you doing? Welcome to the Mic Drop Club again.
Thanks, Douglas. Nice to be back.
This is where this is where it's at. This is where it's at.
Yeah. Here is what's happening tonight. We talked about Amanda G's lovely speech and hope to give the world a little bit more love and insights about the speech.
Brilliant. And that's what it's about. It's about giving more love. I think the States is just a manifestation. What's been happening in the States is an opening manifestation as to what's been happening all around the globe with these extreme views. You know, either you're extreme left or you're extreme right. It doesn't seem to be a lot of center ground thinking, like level-headed thinking. There's always, we can only be one or the other, this dualistic way of viewing life. And I find it rather disappointing, really. It does away with reason.
Yeah, I mean, what I've heard about the speech in English was like about the light. And, the light, it comes around you because it's turning around the globe. And from every light you have, it becomes a shadow behind you if you follow the light. So wow, she was talking about braveness and brave, but me for a while now, and I don't need to be brave. I need to understand the light and the shadow. So that's my key points about this.
Is it kind of like coming from the yin and yang type?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's from the experience about when I was a Buddhist monk and understood what life is about and what my life is about and what's happening around. And everybody's talking about the shadow. But for me, if there are a shadow, it needs to be a light in front of you.
Wow.
So everybody's focusing on the shadow or the hard thing. We talked about flow before, but backwards it's wolf. So to be able to have flow, you need to have the wolf as well.
Wow.
Like we talked about before, if you have two wolves, one is hating and one is loving, what's happening if you only feed the loving wolf? The hater's wolf will die if you stop feeding. So that's my take about the speech. But it's a modern speech and still using from the old ancient wisdom, I think. So lovely speech, and the future is bright if she inspired a lot more youngster and as well adults.
I think so. I think words have the ability to bring to the fore very complicated thoughts, and particularly poetry. Poetry is normally a few words, but they resonate on a deeper level. You cannot, to get that distilled down and you would write it in terms of what everything means, is probably be about maybe 2,000-3,000 words. It's a massive piece of literature, of narrative, because it tells a story. As you were talking about light and shade, when you look at the stars only see stars because we see the light that they radiate, that they release. But that light travels hundreds, thousands, millions, even trillions of years before it gets to our retina so we can see it. So when we look at light as we see it, it's not new. It is old. It gives us, without going too deep, it gives us insights to how things were, not how they currently are. And within the poem, she talks about being in the very beginning. She sets the scene that, as you mentioned, being brave, and then inside the belly of the beast. And that signifies the anguish, the mental, physical torture of people that are under subjugations, people who are struggling. They feel they're in the belly of the beast. They feel that they're being consumed by either the greedy wolf. They feel that they're inside the beast, and they've learnt that quiet isn't always peace. And peace is one of those words. When I heard it, I thought, okay, peace. The Western word or Western understanding of the word peace is to be passive, is to be quiet, is to be at rest, But not all languages use the word peace to mean that same thing.
No, exactly.
Exactly. Not all other languages. Some languages, peace is a action word, meaning you have to go and do something to get that peace. So it was interesting take on how now she spun it, and the fact that she asked for unity. It was a hopeful speech, unity, UNITY, across all the races, because at the end of the day, when poverty doesn't have any race assigned to it, if you're broke, you're broke. That's it. As far as I'm concerned, if you have no money, I think the only discrimination now in the century we're in is centered more around wealth. The haves and the have-nots. And it's only the have-nots that get down to fighting like crabs. I've seen crabs or eels in a bucket. Yeah, they fight each other in that bucket, but none of them can get out because the way the bucket is shaped, you just keep fighting. So a lot of people, we can behave like crabs in a bucket, and we will argue and fight over observable differences, color, gender, age. But really, if you study wealthy people, talking about in money-wise, not wealth in abundance of happiness and joy and health, talk about just wealth in terms of money, they don't really have those types of debates amongst themselves. Certainly they don't make decisions based upon, I'm not going to invest in you because you're a woman or you're a homosexual or you're a child. They don't. They just they take a look at, is this going to be a mutually beneficial collaboration or exchange? And I think that is where we need to start operating at. I felt she was brilliant.
Yeah, she was brilliant. And it was a good timing still. And I think about what you said, peace means an action for most people. But for me as well, when I hear the word peace in English, it means two things for me. It means action, but it means also peace, like to just stand still. Peace. Don't need to do anything. Like often my friends is asking me, what are you doing today, Jonas? You always do things. Yeah, I will do nothing today. And then they say, how do you do that? How do you do nothing? And that for me is like, yeah, I got peace. Yeah. I do peace. I do nothing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, guys, everybody ready?
Atomic mic drop.
Here we go. We're getting warmed up. Because again, that whole notion of what we consider to be peace and at rest, and sometimes we're so busy moving and that we cannot stop to watch how things fall and land. And then you can decide what to do. We're too busy trying to catch things in mid-flight. It's like being in the snow blizzard. You know, the kids have those toys where they shake it and inside is snow and water. And there's like an ornament inside, and then they have to let it sit and watch all the snowflakes or whatever petals land. Too often we're chasing those petals and we're not able to prioritize because we're not still. Society has given us this notion that being busy is good. So even when you're at work, and you're having your deep thoughts, if the boss comes, you pretend to be working. You straight away like typing rubbish on your keyboard, pretending to go in and out of our folders. Why is that?
I think it's like the culture a lot of corporate has built. Go back again. People is born lazy. But it was so successful if you had a busy schedule. But I was personally more successful when I had air in my schedule. I was successful because it shows for me like I could like rest for like 7% of my time and be really focused 30% and did more than average people did on 100% what I did on 30 because I was focused 100%. So I think it's a culture. It was cool to be a busy schedule. Nowadays I have heard like it's cool to have air in the schedule.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing about a lot of companies is they think about how can they monetize, what is the value of the task when you're doing nothing? They do so many studies to try and make sure that we remain busy at work and adding value. But I guess as somebody who works for himself, I value my task based upon the outcome. If I can do a task that maybe somebody else takes a week to do and I could do it in an hour, it doesn't suddenly mean I've got to do 7 times that amount of work, because for me to get to this level of proficiency I've taken hours, if not years, to perfect, so that now what it seems to be complicated, I can do in minutes. You see, but it doesn't mean I take on more work, because that time allows me to learn and keep on growing and mastering that discipline, whether it's video editing, recording, all of those things I invest my time in, So yeah, value is where it's at. I told my daughter the other day that before the lockdown, we had a conversation in terms of looking for work, and she was rather concerned that the wage packet that she will start to get as a young woman at university would not be reflecting what she really wants. So we had a conversation about values, and I said, look, you don't get paid for anything other than the value that you bring to that hour. If you're on an hourly wage, the boss will say, okay, the wage is set at $10, £10 an hour, whatever it is, because they have deemed whoever does that job as £10 of value to that organization per hour. And you might find if you're doing that job for £10 an hour, that is what you're worth in that role. That's what's been determined. And you might get upset, say, for example, you work for a trainer shop and they decide to hire a celebrity to come in for 10 minutes and pay that person all your year's wages for that 10 minutes piece of work, and they leave. And people are like, oh God, why? This is not fair. This person earning 100 times our wages, a year's wages for 10 minutes work. what the organization that has determined is that celebrity's 10 minutes in that store will bring more revenue, more business, more money than what you're doing full time per hour, whatever it is, 35 hours a day for the whole year. Because they know the direct return on the revenue is such. So you should be always thinking about what value you're bringing in. And the more you become, I guess, proficient, or the more you become an expert in your passion, you'll find automatically you can command more income.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree on that one. And I saw that as well when I started my own business, when we talked about value, because after like 10 minutes of coaching with one client who has been going to a therapist for like a year, spending a lot of money, and then she was asking about the payment for my session within 10 minutes, that she actually said like it was more valued that 10 minutes than a whole year with that therapist. And I told her like, yeah, it cost about a year, but I made it on 10 minutes. But same story as you had. I mean, I've been fighting in like 30 years with this one and learned every skill, technique that I can help my clients within 10 minutes, what other people needs 1 year.
Yeah.
So I totally agree on that value about how to invest.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful subject to actually discuss, investing in yourself, building up your skills based and wrapped around that which you are passionate about. If you invest your time and passion in someone else's business that you're not passionate about, you're adding value, yes, to that business, but you will not grow as an individual. And this is why sometimes people find themselves depressed, highly anxious, worried, concerned, because their skills don't enable them to do what they want to do. They go to work to be disabled for 8 hours of the day. They're going there to be disabled because, remember, if you're going to work and you're doing a work that you do not want to do, you're doing work typically at the time in which you're most productive. Nobody ever comes home from work and said, now I've got all my energy to do what I want. You come home broken. You come home tired. That's why you get, what's it called? Your salary is compensation.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
For being there. That's why I always tell people, up until, yes, you're young, particularly young, you have to go and earn your stripes. You have to do that with those jobs that you don't want to do. But it also comes at a time when you got more energy, you got more youth, vigor, vitality, and all these things. Because when young people say to me, I got no energy, I say, no, don't lie. I say, don't lie. If you went to work and your friend after work told you he's having a party, and it was a party of the year, you'd find energy to go to that party. Irrespective if you had work this first thing in the morning. So you go to work, party, straight to work. And sometimes this cycle goes on for days. So when young people say they don't have energy, I'll say, look, you have the energy because you just have to just determine what you're doing is a good investment for tomorrow. If you can see tomorrow, even if you dedicate 1 hour every night, 20 minutes every day after work on something that you want to grow and learn, become, 2-3 years, you're already proficient. Then you can start making a transition out of those jobs that you might feel are more not in keeping with what you want to do and move into a space that is closer to your vision. That's why I tell these kids every single time we speak, I say, look.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, like to be more aware about goal setting and so on, to make that daily goal settings, not that year goal as on business term, like this year I'm gonna sell for this amount of money.
Yeah.
This year I will run this far away. So more on a daily basis, like, so it becomes your habit. What we talked about, like, you don't need to think about when you have to eat breakfast or lunch or dinner, because you already had that habit. So I'm totally agree on that, to invest in yourself, prioritize and decide what to do.
Yeah, it is an important lesson. Invest in yourself. The speech, again, just to go back to what they were saying in the speech, what Amanda was speaking about in the speech about touch on bravery. It's a strong word, being brave. You know, for me, it's an understated word, because one could argue, is a soldier more braver than a nurse, than a teacher?
No.
You know, it's just how the individual has assessed risk. You know, it's the relationships in risk that the individual has to make for themselves. For some people, it's more terrifying to work flipping burgers and fries, than it is being on the front line with a machine gun. You see, for some people who are so deeply focused around, say, patriotism, the protection of the nation, as far as they're concerned, their value system deems what they're doing not that risky. It's what they think is more risky is having the foreign force invade their country. They find that more dangerous than them themselves. So I think putting the word bravery, it does open up a lot in terms of what do we view as bravery. A lot of people who have changed the way society is right now, in the Western world at least, have been women, have been people of color, have been Asian cultural teachings, philosophies, has been disabled people. And have they been brave? Some of them? You could argue, yes. To the people doing it, they might say no. Is the astronaut brave to go to the moon? Ask them when they're about to strap on and have that, how many hundreds of £1,000s of pressure to leave this the orbit of the Earth? Are they brave? Ask them. Do they feel brave? Or are they so focused on what they're doing? To not do it is more terrifying than being in that rocket going up.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I read about the speech in English is like, for there is always light. It's like the last three sentences.
Okay.
For there is always light. So, number one, if you understand and is aware, there is always a light. Mm-hmm. The sun, for example, mm-hmm. There is always that light. If only we are brave enough to see it, mm-hmm. Then I connected as I might be a martial art nerd, and some other is a IT nerd or nurse nerd. Mm-hmm. That is the braveness for me, when they can see the light. As a nurse, as an IT guy or martial artist, when you can see the light as your profession or as the individual, when you can see the light, then you are brave. Then it doesn't need a title.
If only we are brave enough to see it. For there's always light, as there's always darkness. You know, these things are the way the earth spins. You know, the sun never stops shining, ever.
No, exactly.
It's just our position. Go on, sorry.
But it often the environment around us. Even if I see the light, you, Douglas, telling me, I can't see the light. nor can you, Jonas, because I can't see the light when you can't see the light. And it's like parenthood and so on. The little boy or girl, oh, mommy, where is the light? No, you can't see it. I can see it. But when we let people see it, then the next step is to be it. Yeah. So I think Amanda, she's just a brilliant writer.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, my English is perfect, but I think I am totally what she wanted on that one in the practical way, like we talked about before, because it's so much blocking here and there about people around you, because I can see the light. I can tell everybody, but many people say I'm crazy because you can't see the sun. It's dark. It's night, Jonas. Yeah, but I can see it. Yeah, it's really interesting what she wrote.
It is truly fascinating how such a young spirit can come up with such beautiful lines, beautiful symmetrical sentences in terms of that have deep, profound meanings, and the rhythm. There's a rhythm. It's almost like there was a drum in the background. There was no music. It's like dum 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 dum, and it kept going on. Dum dum dum. So yeah, I was left really, really goosebumps. I rarely get goosebumps for poetry, but that was one of them. That wow. And I think as human beings, we'll look back at this moment in time. That was a moment, and sometimes we as people don't realize we're in the moment until we're out of the moment. You know, it's like Christmas Day. You know, the kids wake up, they jump on your face, jump on your bed. Get off here. Before you realize it, it's Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas. And you say to yourself, I wish I was in a better mood. You have to appreciate the moment when you're in the moment, because that's all what life is about. That's the only thing that is certain right here, right now. The rest, who knows about the future? The past is a ghost. Nobody can go there. The future's not certain, but what you can say in any given instant is now. Now is where it's at. So what are you doing now? Listeners, viewers out there, in internet land, what are you doing right now? Yes, if you're watching and you're consuming this, I hope you find it inspiring. Hope you find it helping you to really reimagine, re-see, kickstart thoughts that will connect you to a higher purpose. As Jonas said, the sun is out there. Jonas can see the sun. He can see the light. Whether it's dark or not, it's a metaphor. Your light is within. Everything within the universe is inside you in terms of atoms and your molecular structure. All of these from carbon, hydrogen. I forgot the other two. It's so bad. But all the essential elements that make up the universe are in you. So you are the universe. You are one of the universe. So there's sun out there, light out there. There's light within you. Even though you might say that the human body operates in total darkness. That's how amazing we are as human beings. Inside, it operates everything, organs, moving, air going down, different systems, in total darkness. Our eyes bring in the light, because we're connected. But the light's also our thoughts, to make manifest things that me and Jonas are using right now. Somebody had to think them.
Yeah. Can you see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, I can. Give me one moment. Let me assign it to a number. And let's just do this. And here you go. Yep, I can see that screen.
Yeah. So this picture here, I just want to talk about this picture. It's a tree that I noticed when I was doing my walk and everybody thinks it's fake. And then I told my friends where it is, the tree, and they said, I never saw that. No, because you has not been observing just the moment, the present, to be there. So it's all about, like, you and me, we are like present when it's happening.
Yeah.
And you can see the light. I saw that tree was looking as a woman body.
Yeah.
But nobody else has seen it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But now everybody wants to run to that tree and see, is it for real? Yeah.
That's a sexy tree. Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, and there's an organization, there's a lot of them actually, that go around the world looking for sexy trees. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big pastime hobby, trees. And again, it's about observation. Sometimes we take for granted certain things. We should remain focused and recheck what we think we saw, because this is about perception. You know, if you perceive something to be bad, then it is, because for your perception, it is bad. If you wake up this morning and say, oh God, it's going to be a bad day, guess what? It is a bad day. And I'm not going to argue with anybody that says it's a bad day. I said, yes, it's a bad day, because you called it a bad day for you, not for me. Your reality is a bad day. You know, that's it. I'm not here to argue with everybody's. We go to bed tonight, 8 billion souls, 8 billion different dreams. How beautiful is that? Yet when we wake up out of those 8 billion people, how many of us are focused on doing things that they don't want to do, that has no bearing to what they've aspired to do? Husbands, wives, sleep. One faces east, one faces west. You know, dreams to do different things. One might want to be an architect. The other one might be want to do something in fashion. Both not doing what they want to do. And they wonder why they're so miserable. You know, if you find that you're in that situation, the one thing I would humbly suggest or humbly advise, if I can even give advice, is you don't break somebody else's wish, somebody else's goal, somebody else's dream. Just because every time you sleep, you put your dream under the pillow and leave it there. Don't go and destroy someone else's dream. If you see somebody, no matter how ludicrous it is, if you're not going to help them, be quiet. You know, don't interrupt somebody that's living their own purpose, because it might take years. It might be their life's work. Like many inventions that we see today, from the light bulb that we're taking for granted, from light, artificially made light, we take for granted. That was somebody's life's work. They didn't discover it when they were teenagers. They said, no, I'm going to study. They were ridiculed for years and years and years and years and years. So lovely. I agree on that one. So I really hope and wish that parents will let loose their own mental blockings and so on their kids. I mean, today I met one of my friends. She's a lone mother with 2 girls, and you know, they've been always singing and dancing from home, and the girls enjoy the singing class in school, but now they're not allowed to sing and dance because of the virus, they think. And you know, when she's coming and picking up them every day, all of the other parents is standing, even if it's freezing outside, we're standing still, bored. But you know, the mom, she's dancing and singing. And you see, the people are looking at her as she's a crazy person. And her
girl, mom, they're looking strange at you. Yeah, because they don't know about life. Yeah. So I really hope that the world is changing now to everybody's dream should be supported.
100%. Don't be a dream assassin, like sniper.
No.
You know, don't be that.
No.
We don't want that.
No.
We don't want that. Support each other. As we are, this was our first live stream, motivational, using Amanda Gorman's fantastic inauguration speech as poem as the backdrop of this mic drop with Jonas Fröjd. We just want to wish you a very safe week. Okay, keep inspired, keep pushing those boundaries, keep rethinking, mind kick, fly kick, do drop kicks all over your mind to make sure that it works properly. And me and Jonas will catch you next week.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out MindDropClub.com and get the show notes and useful links. Subscribe to the podcast. Don't just live life. Make life boom.